A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, how are you? I hope all of you are getting well. It is going well. Uh, I have been repeatedly asked these questions by many of my students regarding the upcoming tests and interviews for the post of lectureship in English literature. The posts that have recently been announced by the Higher Education KP. So I wanted to give all of you some experience-based knowledge about what sort of test it would be and what would be the interview like. Regarding the test, the first thing that I want to tell you is that it would be divided into two parts. The first part will cover 30%, the latter will be 70%. The 70% will cover almost all your subject. From American literature, English literature, even some questions will be from the linguistic side as well. While in the first part, mainly there will be sentence completion and grammatical sort of questions. In the sentence completion, like you can be asked questions regarding the insertion of appropriate prepositions and at the same time, like in the option section you would be given synonyms and you would be asked to insert the nearest word in meaning into the structure of the sentence. So that 30% part would be almost in all the subjects. It will be included in all the tests of all the subjects. The latter 70% would mainly be focused upon your own area, whether it is English, whether it is physics, whether it is chemistry. So it would be purely subjective. Now, how to prepare for this test? Let me tell you first thing that you need not to worry about it, because almost all of you have done your master's or BS degrees. You have this ability to attempt this test, but to give you some suggestions, I would prefer that if you have the book by the name of Emporium, if you have, you can study it. It is a very wholesome book. Similarly, I have this book here with me, a companion to English literature. Now, you can also have this book. This is also a very compact book. It is meant for lecturer tests, PCS, MS, PCS, PMS, CSS, and all other competitive exams. Similarly, I have this book as well. It is by Kitab Mahal, Good Luck, Viva Voci. Now, books are there, as I told you, but how to prepare for them? You know that everything is not important. And if you remember from your lectures that have been delivered to you in the universities or at colleges, we usually try to mention those particular areas which are very much important with regard to your tests and your interviews. Like, for instance, take criticism. In criticism, you must know about poetics, especially the Aristotle's definition of classical tragedy. Similarly, you must know about novels, novelists. You must know about the characters as well. You like whatever you have read in your classes. I presume that you will all know this. But if you do not know, then I will recommend that go through it. Go through it. Take a book daily and sift it from the very first page to the last, but not like a very meticulous person. You go through the main topics, study the writer, his works. You must know this because most of the questions in your test will be regarding, like for example, who is the author of this novel, or and there would be 4 options given, you will have to select one. Or the same question can be given in this manner as well, that who is who is the author of the following novels. Then there will be 4 names given of various authors and you will have to select one. Most questions are just like this. You can also be asked that the character of Mr. X appeared in the novel dash dash dash, and 4 options will be given. So the characters are also very much important. This applies to both to English literature as well as American literature. Unfortunately, literature is a very vast field. So I will recommend you to go through the study by of the University of Peshawar, the University of Kohat, Gomad University, as well as University of Science and Technology, Bandhan. Plus, if you have done your BS, I will recommend that you should contact with other students from, for example, Abdul Wali Khan University, and at the same time Peshawar University, who have done BS from there, and ask them which courses are there in your BS, and find out which particular areas have you missed. For example, University of Science and Technology, Bandhan, would be offering certain other dramas. Peshawar University will be offering some other dramas. Now, if some of the dramas you would have read in your courses here in Bandhan, but some of you of the dramas you would have not know about it, which were being taught by the professors in Peshawar University. So you must find out those areas, those black spots about which you do not know, and try to cover them. Not like this is not something like you are preparing for an exam. This is not an exam. You just go through it and try to mainly remember the story and the characters. These are very much important. As far as linguistics is concerned, you should know the very basic concepts of linguistics, like what is morphology, what is phonology, what is semantics, what is a morpheme, a phoneme, a sememe, like the basics, the foundational concepts of linguistics. You must know about this. This constitutes the matter of your tests. Now, one thing which is very much important with regard to your test: beware about negative marking. So we usually are influenced by our society, by other students, when we see that other students are like just taking it all the way from the very first minute to the last the paper, and they are all attempting all questions. Let me tell you frankly that such students will not get any sort of pass marks in the test. Usually such students only get 30, 40, 44 maximum marks. Negative marking is a very dangerous thing. If you are sure about the answer of a question, do mark it in the test. Mark it. If you are 50% sure about the answer, then just put a slight dot over it. For example, 4 options are given there and you are confused between 2 options. Usually when we attempt such MCQs, we read the questions, then we read the options, then we exclude some options. They are not even relevant to the answer of the question. Like for example, option A is relevant, yes, and you are confused whether option B is relevant or not, you are 50-50 about it. Then tick option A, but very slightly with the tip of a pencil, so that you may remember it, that these two are my first consideration. Then tick A, and don't tick it, put a dot over A and put a dot over B. And about C and D, you will be sure that these two options have nothing to do with the answer of the question. Now you are confused between option A and option B. Now leave this question, jump ahead, attempt all those questions.